Hey everyone, it's Kong again, and I just want to take a quick couple of minutes to talk to you about Covenants and THOR, because a lot of people have been asking about this stuff. It's actually not as complicated as it looks, so I'm not going to put together a big complicated presentation or anything. I just want to walk you through the basics of these new little sections of the game and what they're for. So the first key point for this new mode is the Kingdom of the Aurora in the Secret Realm. This is essentially where you go to unlock your new gods and get the materials that you need to level them up. So this is your first stop. You can see in here in the Kingdom of the Aurora, we have a nice picture of the Yggdrasil here, the world tree, and there are 9 nodes here, corresponding to the 9 realms of Norse mythology. We only have one that's unlocked right now, and it's Svartalfheim, and that's where we get Thor. So once we go into each of these zones, you can see there's kind of like a Timeless Trials-esque collection of maps and battles that you have to do. So I know there's a lot on this screen. I'll talk about it all in turn. The first thing you have to do, so your first order of business, is going to be clearing these battles, and clear as many of them as you can, because it lets you collect materials more quickly. Eventually, they are time-gated by level, so for example, my Thor is not level 20 yet, so I can't do any of these battles. So when you go into a battle node, you're faced with a set of 3 specific battles. And these kind of work like the old Guild Wars back when we had to actually do those manually. So when you use your heroes in a battle, they're not available to you for the next battle. So for example, if you do the first battle of this node with a Legion of Glory team, say Elwyn, Ledin, Yulia, Lyanna, and Narm, when you go to do the second battle, those heroes won't be available to you, so you need to have 3 decent enough teams to get through this. Each battle has its own little individual battle reward, and then there's a full clear reward for doing the entire node, and I'll get to those and describe those in a moment. So, once you've done your battles, the whole point of this screen is to eventually collect this Gold of the Abyss, which is your, essentially Thor's experience points. So like experience potions for your heroes. And one thing to note is that the upgrade, the experience material, is unique to each of the 9 realms. So you don't need to worry about trying to budget all this gold between a whole bunch of gods eventually. You'll only get Gold of the Abyss in here, and you'll only be able to use it for Thor. The other realms will have their own experience material. So once you've unlocked stuff, once you've done your battles, and after doing your first node you actually unlock Thor, which is the main point of this realm, then the bottom of the screen here is what looks like an expedition style thing, and that's basically what it is. So your goal is just, this is running all the time, and it's passively collecting the Gold of the Abyss for experience for Thor over time. So you can see mine's been running for almost 3 hours, and it has passively collected this so far. Now there's a couple things that you can do, so I'll go back in and talk about the rewards and what they mean. Obviously, the gold here, you get a big chunk of gold for each node that you clear. There's also these Wings of the Valkyrie, and they essentially give you a baseline of how fast your gold auto-farms. There's also these things called banquet seats, and I'll show you what they do. They're essentially one of the ways that you can speed up this farming. So you'll see down here Covenant Commission, and you can click right on that helmet, and it brings up this other menu that looks more complicated than it actually is. You're going to have to trust me. This is a very straightforward mode, and it just has lots of little fiddly bits that you can click on. They're not actually that confusing. So in here, we essentially have a menu of your heroes, and for each of those chairs that you unlock in the node missions, you get another slot to slot a hero into. And when you choose a hero, that basically just speeds up your passive farming. So you can see I have efficiency 100 here. Basically all that means is you get bonus efficiency if your character meets these simple requirements. So if they're in certain factions and have certain class types mastered. So you can see I have Yulia slotted into this first chair. She is in Princess Alliance faction, and she has an infantry class. So she's getting 100% efficiency for me. Once I unlock more chairs, I'll be able to slot more characters in, and that'll speed up my farming. It's as simple as that. You get a slot, you put a character in, and then this thing does itself faster. So the commission efficiency is essentially a summary of all the ways that you've already gained to passively gather this gold. So remember those Valkyrie wings that I showed you in the reward screen? Those get tallied up in here. So they're not actually an item that you have to use, just once you clear the node, it automatically gets added to this and speeds up your auto farming rate. So I have these Valkyrie wings and then my hero assist bonus. Now this will only go up to 72 hours. So kind of like in your expedition menu, once it reaches the end of your 4 or 8 or 12 hours, whatever you set it for, once this gets to 72 hours, it stops farming. So it's basically a way to make sure that you're logging in every 3 days to just click claim reward and get your gold added to your total. And then it continues ticking up. Okay, so that's all well and good, but what do we actually do with our unlocked THOR and our recently acquired gold? So that takes us to the next element of this new mode, which is back on our main screen, and it's this new Covenant node. Now you'll see this already looks like it kind of mirrors the previous screen with the Yggdrasil. There's 9 slots, one for each god, which you get from the realms in the other mode. So obviously we only have THOR, so if we click on THOR, it brings us to THOR's little upgrade screen. Now again, this is a common theme for this mode, but this looks more complicated than it actually is. Now we'll get to this Final Fantasy XII license board thing in a minute. First, I want to explain the basics of this screen. So the first thing we see over here is THOR himself sitting here with a little experience meter. And this is basically how we level THOR up. So you just click this little plus, and just like leveling up your heroes, it shows a little experience bar. It shows your experience potions, or THOR's gold in this case, and you just click the plus button and it gets added to his total. As you level him up, it unlocks more nodes back in the other mode, and it also rewards you with these currencies. So I'll get to those in a moment when I explain the license board. Next we have this little magnifying glass, and this actually just shows you THOR's stats and skills and abilities. The summoned gods are a lot like heroes. So they do have skills, they have stats, you can summon them to battle, and they actually will fight for a couple turns. This shows what happens when you summon him. I'm not going to go through what all of his actual skills and stuff do. You can do that in your own menu. I'm just kind of explaining how things work. Energy is a thing that happens in battle. So when you get into battle, it shows a little THOR head over on the side, and he gradually gathers energy. And once his energy meter is full, that's when you can summon him and actually use him. So this energy restoration menu basically just shows the rules for how he manages energy. At the start of the battle, he starts with 46, and you need 60 to summon him. Each turn he gets 2 more, and then you get bonus energy when certain conditions are met. So if you're dealing fixed damage, for example. And you can upgrade these as well. The next little menu here just shows a summary of all the passive stat bonuses that you're getting from what you've unlocked in THOR already. So I've already unlocked a few tiles, and this is just what I have so far. Now the important thing to note, these stats apply in both PvE and PvP. So anything that you unlock here is going to affect your Apex Arena stats, which is why people are really excited about this and trying to get him leveled up as quickly as they can. The next little button here is essentially a reset for your tile board. The first one's free, after that it'll cost crystals, but you won't really need to reset. Then we have these currencies, which, like I mentioned, you get from leveling up, and these are premium currencies for unlocking certain rare tiles on the board, and you can get those from feats in the battle nodes. I've only gotten one so far, and I haven't spent it yet. Now, let's actually look at how this tile board works. So you have a starting point here, and at first this is the only thing that's actually unlocked for you. After that, you have to spend these little star souls to unlock adjacent tiles. So for example, if I wanted to unlock this Hammer of Thunder, it would cost me 1 of these little star souls. And the only way to unlock tiles is to have already unlocked something adjacent to them. So for example, I can't unlock this THOR attack node, even though I have 2 star souls, because I don't have anything unlocked next to it. So in order to get to the bonuses that you want, you have to gradually work your way there by unlocking the tiles. So for example, here's a great node. All here is attack plus 6. In order to get there, I actually have to unlock this soldier attack node first, but I can't quite afford it yet. Now, a very important note about this, because I know a lot of people, especially with strategy games, get stressed about painting themselves into a corner or screwing themselves over by doing something wrong. This is especially exacerbated by the fact that you've probably seen people sharing pictures of like optimal routes and optimal unlock paths for this tile, or for this tile board. Now, don't be scared. By the time THOR gets to level 70, you'll actually have enough currency to unlock every single tile, every single node on this board, so you can't miss out on anything. The only reason you're starting to see those images getting shared around is because people want to prioritize the tiles that they think will give them the most bang for their buck, essentially. So, especially for the PvP players, they're trying to unlock as much attack and offensive stats as they can quickly so that they can use them in Apex Arena on the weekend. But if you just want to play casually, you can just go through this tile board, this license board, and unlock everything. Getting to level 70 for a god and unlocking the whole license board should take about 2 months as long as you're diligently collecting your experience points. So the only other thing to really talk about is how do you use THOR? So once you have more gods, you get to choose an active god, and that god applies its stat bonus to all of your heroes. So you can see in this Covenant deployment menu, this is where all your gods will go, and when you click on each god, it'll show you what passive stat bonuses you have unlocked for them. Obviously, we only have THOR right now, so these are the stats that will get applied to me. Now, when you go into battle, in your pre-battle prep screen, over here, you'll see THOR just poking his head around the corner, waiting. He's so excited. And in Apex Arena, he'll be there as well for when you're picking your troops and skills and positioning. So you can just click on THOR over here, and he brings up another little menu where all your gods will get slotted into this menu, and you can choose which god you want to have assigned. Clicking down here will again show you a little summary of what stat the selected god gives you. So in case you've forgotten, you can go through your gods and then be reminded of what they're doing for you. Again, we only have THOR, so I'm clicking on THOR to deploy him, and you can see his energy meter here. He currently will start the battle with 46 out of 60 energy. So then when I start the battle, you see he's now up to 48 because one of his energy accumulation requirements was he gets 2 at the start of every turn. And if I were to actually play this out and not win too quickly, you would see that gradually filling up, and then he'll start glowing. And at any point on your turn, so it doesn't cost anyone's action, so let's pretend his stat bar was full right now, I could just click on him, and then it would get to choose a spot on the map to deploy him, and he'll land there, it'll do a cool summoning animation, and then he'll just be a member of your team that you can click on and choose to move around and use his skills, and after he's acted twice, he just disappears. I'm not going to do this whole fight for you because that's super boring, but that's essentially the basics of how you get your god into battle and what he can do. If anyone watched the VOD of the Ancient Beckoning run I did on Fenrir, yes, you can summon the gods in Ancient Beckoning, you'll actually get to see me summon and use Thor 4 or 5 times in that battle. And that's pretty much all there is to it. The main reason I wanted to make this video is because I know people have been intimidated by these new modes, and I really just wanted to show how simple they are. There's not much to them. In spite of all the flair and decoration and all the different things to do and fight and click on, and there's timers and there's shiny things, the crux of this mode is when you have a fight that's available to you, go and clear the fight, and then wait for this stuff to accumulate. Make sure you're logging in every 72 hours, which, if you're watching this video, you're probably logging in every day anyway. So just collect your rewards. You can even just quick claim from the front of this menu. So as soon as you log in and click the Kingdom of the Aurora, big button to collect all your gold. And then once you're done doing your fights, once you're done passively collecting your gold for 72 hours, just make sure you're periodically coming in to your menu here, leveling up Thor, and then clicking on this tile board to unlock the bonuses that you want. You don't have to worry about backing yourself into a corner. Over time, you will eventually have all of these tiles unlocked. All of them. If it's going to take about 3 months before the next god is released, and it takes about 2 months to max out this tile board, you don't even need to worry about juggling upgrades, because you're going to have one totally done before the next one even comes out. So that is all there is to it. That is all there is to Thor. As you gradually level him up, he starts to change and look like more of a badass too. So this is like his 3rd tier mode, what he looks like. He becomes a Cent Thor for some reason, and it increases his stats and affects his skills and abilities as well. So hopefully that clears some things up and alleviates some of your worries or your stress. Just get in there and enjoy the game. Click on things, do some fights, watch your timer go up, and most importantly, enjoy using your new little pet Thor in battles. Hopefully that was helpful, everyone. Hopefully that wasn't too much information all at once. The basic summary and conclusion of this video is that the new God mode is easy, it's not as complicated as it looks, and it's pretty fun. So, hope you all enjoyed. Hope you're all enjoying Thor. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy Langrissing, everyone.